Hello and welcome back. Today we're digging into the latest numbers from a giant in the Indian construction space, Ambuja Cements Limited.
That's right. Ambuja, now a key part of the Adani Group cement portfolio alongside ACC, Sanghi Industries, and the recently acquired Penna Cement and Orient Cement assets. They've actually just crossed a major milestone, hitting over 100 MTPA or million tons per annum of cement capacity. A huge player.
Absolutely. So let's get into the results. They've released their audited financial results for the quarter and the full financial year ended March 31, 2025. These were approved by their board on April 29, 2025. We'll be looking at both the standalone and consolidated figures today.
Correct. Always important to see both pictures, the parent company's health and the performance of the entire group, including all those subsidiaries.
Definitely. Let's kick off with the top-line revenue from operations. How did the group, the consolidated entity, perform in the fourth quarter?
Okay, looking at the consolidated results for the fourth quarter ended March 31, 2025, revenue from operations came in at 9,889 crore rupees. Comparing that year over year, it's up nicely from the 8,894 crore rupees they reported in the same quarter last year.
So solid year-over-year growth. What about sequentially comparing it to the previous quarter, the one ended December 31, 2024?
Sequentially, quarter over quarter, the revenue also showed growth, up from 9,329 crore rupees in the December quarter. So, a positive trend both year over year and quarter over quarter on the consolidated revenue front for Q4.
Good momentum there. Now let's look at the standalone picture for Ambuja Cements itself. How did its Q4 revenue look?
Standalone revenue for Q4 was 5,670 crore rupees. Year over year, that's a strong increase from 4,764 crore rupees in Q4 of the previous year.
And the quarter-over-quarter comparison for standalone revenue?
Quarter over quarter, it's also up, rising from 4,850 crore rupees in the preceding quarter, Q3 FY25. So both consolidated and standalone revenues are showing growth in Q4 on both a year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter basis.
Excellent. Now let's move to profitability. How did the consolidated EBITDA look for Q4? I believe the investor presentation gave us that figure excluding other income.
Yes, the consolidated EBITDA, excluding other income for Q4 FY25, stood at 1,868 crore rupees. Year over year, that's a decent jump from 1,699 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Okay, growth there too. What about the sequential quarter-over-quarter comparison for consolidated EBITDA?
Quarter over quarter, consolidated EBITDA is also up slightly from 1,712 crore rupees in the third quarter. So growth continued sequentially as well.
And the standalone EBITDA performance for Q4?
Standalone EBITDA for Q4 FY25, again excluding other income, was 1,038 crore rupees. This is a significant increase year over year from 798 crore rupees.
That's quite a jump. How does it look quarter over quarter for standalone EBITDA?
Quarter over quarter, the standalone EBITDA saw very strong growth, up substantially from 601 crore rupees in the third quarter. So standalone EBITDA shows strong momentum both year over year and quarter over quarter.
Interesting. Before we move to PAT, let's touch on profit before tax, PBT. How did that shape up for consolidated and standalone in Q4?
Right? Consolidated PBT for Q4 was 1,780 crore rupees. That's up year over year from 1,595 crore rupees. However, quarter over quarter, it was down from 2,336 crore rupees, likely influenced by factors like exceptional items or maybe higher other income in the previous quarter. Standalone PBT for Q4 was 1,197 crore rupees, up significantly year over year from 681 crore rupees and also up quarter over quarter from 1,084 crore rupees.
Okay, so a mixed sequential picture for PBT, but strong YoY growth, especially standalone. Now, the bottom line, profit after tax PAT. What are the consolidated numbers for Q4?
Consolidated PAT for Q4 FY25 came in at 1,282 crore rupees. Now, interestingly, this is down year over year compared to the 1,521 crore rupees reported in Q4 FY24.
Down year over year? That's different from the revenue and EBITDA trend. How about quarter over quarter for consolidated PAT?
Yes, it is different. And quarter over quarter, the consolidated PAT is also down significantly from 2,620 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. This suggests that while operational performance, EBITDA, improved, the final profit was impacted by other factors, perhaps lower other income compared to Q3 or tax variations, or those exceptional items we should look at later.
We definitely need to unpack that. What about the standalone PAT for Q4?
Standalone PAT tells a different story for Q4. It stood at 929 crore rupees. That's a strong increase year over year from 532 crore rupees.
And the sequential comparison for standalone PAT?
Quarter over quarter, the standalone PAT was down from 1,758 crore rupees in Q3. Again, this Q3 number seems quite high, possibly boosted by specific credits or lower tax in that particular quarter. Note 12 mentions significant tax credits recognized in Q3 FY25 standalone results, which explains this sharp QOQ drop.
Right, that Q3 tax credit effect is important context. Let's look at the full year picture briefly. How did revenue and PAT compare for the full financial year FY25 versus FY24?
For the full year FY25, consolidated revenue was around 35,045 crore rupees, up from 33,160 crore rupees in FY24. Consolidated PAT for FY25 was 5,158 crore rupees, also up from 4,735 crore rupees in the previous year. On the standalone side for FY25, revenue reached 19,080 crore rupees, up from 17,846 crore rupees. Standalone PAT showed strong growth, reaching 3,755 crore rupees compared to 2,335 crore rupees in FY24.
So positive annual growth on both top and bottom lines for both consolidated and standalone. Even though Q4 PAT had some YoY and QoQ dips on the consolidated side. How about earnings per share EPS for Q4?
Consolidated EPS for Q4 FY25 was 3.88 rupees. This is down year over year from 4.93 rupees and down quarter over quarter from 8.59 rupees, mirroring the PAT trend. Standalone EPS for Q4 was 3.77 rupees, up year over year from 2.42 rupees, but down quarter over quarter from 7.14 rupees, again reflecting that high Q3 base due to tax credits.
Got it. Any significant other income playing a role here in Q4?
Yes, other income was quite substantial. Consolidated other income in Q4 was 573 crore rupees, up significantly year over year from 233 crore rupees, but down quarter over quarter from a very high 1,352 crore rupees in Q3. Standalone other income in Q4 was 442 crore rupees, up year over year from 177 crore rupees, but down quarter over quarter from 772 crore rupees. Note 12 mentions reversals of interest provisions, contributing significantly to other income in Q3 and Q4 FY25 standalone results.
Okay, that high other income in Q3 definitely explains some of the sharp QoQ drops in PBT and PAT for Q4. Now let's talk profitability margins for Q4. How did they look?
Consolidated EBITDA margin for Q4 was 18.9%. Slightly down from 19.1% year over year, but up from 18.4% quarter over quarter. The consolidated PAT margin was around 13% for Q4. Standalone EBITDA margin was 18.3% in Q4, up from 16.7% year over year, and also up significantly from 11.9% quarter over quarter. The standalone PAT margin was about 16.4%, so standalone margins showing stronger improvement, especially sequentially.
What about those exceptional items we mentioned? Did they impact the Q4 results significantly?
Yes, they did, particularly on the consolidated side. Consolidated results for Q4 FY25 included a net exceptional income of 134.73 crore rupees, calculated as gain on sale of PPE minus impairment loss and vendor settlement. This contrasts with an exceptional expense of 211.57 crore rupees in Q4 FY24, mainly related to gain remeasurement being negative. Standalone results had no exceptional items in Q4 FY25, but did have an exceptional expense of 15.82 crore rupees in Q4 FY24 related to the Sanghi share sale loss. So exceptional items definitely influenced the year-over-year consolidated PBT and PAT comparisons.
That clarifies the PAT movements a bit. Shifting gears to the balance sheet, any highlights from the end of March 2025? Consolidated versus standalone?
As of March 31, 2025, consolidated total assets stood at 80,945 crore rupees, with total equity at 63,811 crore rupees. Key items include a large goodwill figure of nearly 10,856 crore rupees, reflecting the recent acquisitions. Standalone total assets were 57,129 crore rupees, with total equity at 48,606 crore rupees. A major standalone asset is the investment in subsidiaries, valued at over 25,368 crore rupees. Importantly, the investor presentation highlights the group remains debt-free, and consolidated cash and cash equivalents stood at a healthy 10,125 crore rupees.
Debt-free with strong cash reserves is a good position. How about cash flows for the full year FY25?
For the full year, consolidated cash flow from operations was 2,237 crore rupees. Investing activities saw a significant outflow of 7,531 crore rupees, largely due to acquisitions and capex. Financing activities brought in 5,592 crore rupees, mainly from the proceeds related to the warrants issued earlier. Standalone cash flow from operations was 1,769 crore rupees, investing outflow was 6,542 crore rupees, and financing inflow was 7,377 crore rupees. They also recommended a dividend of 2 rupees per share for FY25.
Okay, let's dive into the segments. How did cement and ready-mix concrete perform on a consolidated basis in Q4?
The report gives consolidated segment results. The cement segment remains the dominant force. For Q4 FY25, cement revenue was 9,501 crore rupees, up from 8,601 crore rupees year over year. However, its profit before interest and tax (PBIT) was 1,110 crore rupees, actually down from 1,250 crore rupees in Q4 last year. The ready-mix concrete RMX segment, though smaller, showed growth. Q4 revenue was 426 crore rupees, up from 318 crore rupees YoY, and its PBIT increased to 21 crore rupees from 16 crore rupees YoY.
So cement revenue up, but profit down year over year in Q4, while RMX grew on both fronts. What factors might be driving this?
The presentation points to strong volume growth overall, up 13% year over year for the consolidated cement business in Q4. They mention better engagement with influencers, improved branding, market segmentation, and infrastructure improvements driving sales. However, the dip in cement PBITO, despite higher revenue, could suggest some margin pressure in Q4, maybe from input costs or integration costs related to acquisitions. Even with ongoing cost reduction efforts, the company did highlight cost optimization successes like reduced fuel rates and lower logistics costs over the full year. RMX growth reflects the overall positive trend in construction.
Makes sense. Now, beyond the numbers, were there any other significant events or notes mentioned in the report? There seem to be quite a few acquisitions and corporate actions.
Absolutely. A lot happened. Key highlights include acquisitions completed the acquisition of Orient Cement shares effective April 22, 2025. Gained control over Penna Cement from August 16, 2024 and Sanghi Industries from December 7, 2023. Also acquired the Tuticorin grinding unit from My Home Industries. ACC, the subsidiary, also made several smaller acquisitions. Capacity milestone, crossed the 100 MTPA capacity mark, a major achievement. Merger schemes. Progress on schemes to amalgamate Adani Cementation, Sanghi Industries and Penna Cement with Ambuja Cements. NCLT meetings are scheduled or NOCs awaited. Reclassifications. Several cost items like royalty, captive coal inventory value, and employee payables were reclassified for better presentation, impacting comparisons for some line items but not the overall profit. Legal matters. The Competition Commission of India, CCI, cartelization case is ongoing, admitted in the Supreme Court with a stay on the penalty pending final hearing. No provision is made, as management believes they have a strong case. The Haryana CCI matter is also pending. The report notes the closure of matters related to the short seller report allegations from 2023. It also mentions the US indictment concerning a non-executive director, but states the holding company Ambuja is not named. Dividend, recommendation of 2 rupees per share. ESG, commission 200 MW solar and 99 MW wind power, targeting 60% green power by FY28. achieved 12 times water positivity and 11 times plastic negativity. Entered a partnership for rotodynamic heater (RDH) technology to reduce fossil fuel use. Net zero targets validated by SBTi.
That's a very active year. Now, crucially, what did the auditors, SRBC and County LLP, say about these results? Any qualifications or concerns?
This is a key positive. For both the standalone and consolidated financial results for the year ended March 31st, 2025, the auditors SRBC and County LLP issued an unmodified opinion. This means they believe the financial statements present a true and fair view in accordance with accounting standards.
An unmodified or clean opinion is definitely good news. Did they highlight any specific areas?
Yes, for both sets of results, they included an emphasis of matter paragraph. This isn't a qualification, but it draws attention to Note 8 standalone and Note 16 consolidated, which discuss the ongoing CCI litigation regarding alleged cartelization. The auditors highlight the uncertainty surrounding the outcome of this litigation but state their opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. They also mention, as is standard in large group audits, their reliance on the reports of other auditors for certain subsidiaries, joint operations, associates, and joint ventures included in the consolidated results.
Okay, so a clean audit opinion overall, but they specifically point out the ongoing CCI case as something for users to be aware of due to its inherent uncertainty. Good to know. So, bringing it all together, what's the outlook for Ambuja Cements?
The outlook appears cautiously optimistic, underpinned by several factors. They've successfully integrated major acquisitions and significantly boosted capacity past the 100 MTPA mark, with a clear roadmap to reach 140 MTPA by FY28. They remain debt-free with substantial cash reserves, providing flexibility for further organic or inorganic growth and capex, which they plan to fund internally. Strong focus on cost synergies from group integration, operational efficiencies and increasing green power usage should support margins. The expansion into new markets via acquisitions like Penna and Orient strengthens their national footprint.
And the potential risks?
Key risks include the successful integration of the newly acquired businesses to realize projected synergies, the uncertain outcome of the CCI litigation flagged by the auditors, potential volatility in input costs, though they seem to be managing this well currently, and the general competitive intensity in the cement sector. Execution of their ambitious capacity expansion plans on time and within budget will also be crucial.
And of course, as always, this discussion is for informational purposes only. Investors should consult with certified financial advisors before making any investment decisions.
Absolutely.
So, to summarize, Ambuja Cements reported a strong finish to FY25. Consolidated Q4 showed good year-over-year revenue and EBITDA growth, though PAT dipped YoY and sharply QoQ, mainly due to high other income and tax credits in Q3. Standalone performance was robust, especially on profitability. The full year saw growth across the board. They achieved the 100 MTPA milestone, remained debt-free, and have aggressive expansion plans. The auditors gave a clean opinion, but highlighted the ongoing CCI case.
A very apt summary. A company clearly in expansion mode, leveraging group synergies, but with that legal uncertainty lingering in the background. Definitely one to watch closely as they integrate these new assets and push towards that 140 MTPA target.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.